Today I'll be reviewing Boruto Chapter 15, The Supporting Shadow. So, like always, the chapter is late, a little bit more every month. But aside from that, this chapter was great. In the beginning, I thought this chapter is not, it's just okay. But no, at the end of the chapter, it turned like really good. So it starts off where the last chapter ended with Boruto beating Shoujojo. But then Shoujojo manages to get back up, and Boruto tries a Rasengan, but it disappears. And then you see the seal mark on his hand. And then I'm guessing that's the reason his Rasengan appears. I'm wondering if his seal gives him the ability that Momoshiki had, which was to absorb jutsu and then release it. Because we also find out in this chapter that other people have seal marks, like the same one that Boruto and Kawaki have, but we don't know exactly what they do or how they work. We also see that when Shojoji realizes that Boruto has the seal, he's like, "Are you in that organization?" Because clearly he knows something about the organization that makes him so scared. He went from not being scared even though he was beat up to straight feared. Like you can see it in the way it's drawn too. But then Sarada and Mitsuki show up and beat him up. And Sarada also says that she was getting too worried about him. So you can kind of see they're setting up the Sarada and Boruto ship. Or at least that's what I'm getting out of that. After that, they go to Konohamaru, tells him what happens. And as usual, even though Boruto or someone saves, or Boruto, Naruto, this always happens. Even though you do something right, you get in trouble because you weren't allowed to. Basically, all shonen animes all the time. After that, after talking to Konohamaru, he sends off Tentu and he says goodbye to him. And then Boruto returns the card to him, and we find out that the card was Sasuke all along because nobody would have guessed it was Sasuke. So after he obviously returns the Sasuke card, he goes to try and buy another pack so he can just earn one himself. And Sarada's like, you should have just got it since it was right there. So then she decides to buy a pack of cards. And she gets Orochimaru, an SSR Orochimaru, and some other trash ninja. And I'm like, are they really doing this with the cards? And then Mitsuki reveals that Orochimaru is his dad, even though in the movie he says that right after they beat, well, at the end of the movie they mention that that's like the last line of the movie. But it's kind of strange how they did it now instead of like before then. I forgot if Mitsuki actually said it before, but I guess they decided to read that now. But everyone who's watched the movie is reading the manga, or rather, everybody who's reading the manga has watched the movie. And last, they officially reveal at this moment that the card that he wanted was the Sasuke card, and it says Sasuke, the Supporting Shadow. And I thought that's where the chapter ended because I wasn't paying attention to how many pages there were. But there was actually more to the chapter, which was surprising. And this is like the good half of the chapter. So I don't know why they didn't just name the chapter after the better half of it instead of the lesser half, I would say. So let's just say this half of the chapter starts off with Sai and Ibiki, and they're questioning Shoujojo. I'm like, how did he even get here? Did Boruto and the others drag him here, or did Konohamaru show up? I feel like the chapter just went by too fast. Anyways, then he's questioning them, and then Sasuke walks in, and Sasuke's like, I want to talk to him directly, and he asks him if he knows anything about the curse mark on Boruto's hand. And then he says that everyone knows who Sasuke is because he's like, everyone who's in the shadows knows who he is and how far he's willing to go. And I'm like, Batman? No, but then seriously, I don't really get why they say that because Sasuke literally all he has to do is use his Sharingan to see through people's minds. So I don't know why they made it sound like he was going to use force. But before Sasuke even has to do anything, Shoujo spills the beans and says that he just overheard a conversation among people in suspicious black robes. And then we find out that they're called the Kara, and we see four of them at first, and then we also see in the background seven seal signs or seven symbols. One of them is the seal that Kawaki has, and I see another one is the one that Boruto has. So I don't know if we're gonna find out more about those later and what exactly they're for. But since they're all different, I personally think they each have their own ability that they can like use a certain jutsu or whatever. Like what I said before, one could absorb chakra and release it. Who knows what the others can do? So then Sasuke and the others, like, this is the first time they've heard the name the Kara, and Shoujojo mentions how he just got out of there on instinct because he could tell they were trouble. And he also says that he knows a bit about Orochimaru's seal marks, and he says the one that they have is completely different, which means Orochimaru isn't behind this. I know some people thought it would have been Orochimaru. I personally didn't see Orochimaru being the villain at this point in the series. Like, his time came and went, and if they brought back Orochimaru, people would have just said they have to take stuff from Naruto just to be good. So at the end, we see that I guess the guy in charge, because he's sitting in the middle and in a chair, is called Jigen, and he kind of has a curse mark on his chin, or the seal mark on his chin, and we also see that there's six of them in the room, and there's 7 seal marks. So if there's only 7 seal marks, and Boruto has one of them, and there are 6 of them in here, and then Kawaki has another one, that means one of them has the seal mark. They all have the rest of the seal marks, I'm assuming, and one of them has to be Kawaki. But the thing is, none of them really match Kawaki's body description. Like, the short one has like a pirate leg or something. Then there's one girl, a big guy, this one old looking dude, and some guy wearing. He kind of looks like he has Rock Lee's like pants because of the design on the bottom, but I'm not too sure. Another point I want to make is that if they all have this like curse marks, did that mean they all defeated like Kaguya's people? Because from what we've seen so far, it seems like Boruto got the seal because he beat Momoshiki. Because Momoshiki says at the end, once you defeat a god, you'll never be the same, or something along those lines. So we all assumed he gave Boruto some sort his power of sorts, but it appears that isn't the case. Oh, and another thing, it seems like they're trying to make these guys out to be like the new Akatsuki, but I'm wondering if they might be stronger if they all have the power of the curse marks, or the seal marks, I should say. So basically, it's a unknown organization, a group of powerful criminals. Well, actually, we don't actually know if they're criminals. We just know that Shoujo Joe is scared of them. So obviously they're powerful, and if they have the seal mark, which we associate with Momoshiki, and we assume Momoshiki is a bad person, we just assume they're bad guys. Because when has people ever meeting in dark cloaks ever good guys? That's like never. So overall, I thought this chapter was pretty good. It had some pretty hype moments, and also I guess this is a bit of setup. So hopefully next month's chapter lives up to the hype that this month's chapter was, because this month's chapter was pretty good, and it gave us a lot to think about coming like going forward into the series. And now I guess we have a little bit more knowledge about Kawaki, and I assume Kawaki's gonna join their organization later because he isn't already in it. I'm assuming one of them is gonna die, and he's gonna take their place. That's basically what I think is gonna happen. Maybe even Boruto joins them for some reason. They get Boruto to recruit him because he did say he wants to be like Sasuke. Sasuke was a rogue ninja, so maybe something along those lines happens. But they did give us a lot to speculate on this chapter with. So those are my thoughts on this week's chapter of Boruto. Let me know what you thought in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and bye.